introduce our speakers in order, and then we will take your questions. We're going to start off with, I'll just say in order who we're going to have speak here. Trent Dougherty, Legal Counsel, Director of Legal Affairs, Ohio Environmental Council, followed by Jed Thorp. We'll have arm wrestling here.
Jed Thorp.
Jed Thorp, Sarah Club, Ohio Chapter, and then Julian Boggs with Environment Ohio, and they will each give you their titles. So we are on the cusp here. The Ohio House of Representatives is to vote this week. The committee on Tuesday or Wednesday, they have scheduled a vote on the governor's energy bill, which, as you all know, just passed out of the Ohio Senate last week. And the word is that the Ohio House will quickly vote the bill here in only the second week of hearings, put it quickly on the floor, and we expect the Senate will quickly concur in the House changes. So here to talk about our concerns, or to lead off, will be Trent Dougherty, Ohio Environmental Council.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I'm Trent Dougherty, Director of Legal Affairs at the Ohio Environmental Council. And as Jack said, today, in a rare Monday hearing, will be one of only two more hearings left for the ballyhooed energy legislation, the governor's MBR energy bill, substitute Senate Bill 315. Governor Kasich's once promising energy plan has emerged from the Senate a little worse for wear. And part of the wear was requested by its own Ohio Department of Natural Resources, according to some news reports. As the plan nears its final vote just in the next few days, Ohio environmental leaders are troubled by several changes made, and some of the provisions left unchanged by the Ohio Senate, and even more rumored to be in the offing by the Ohio House. Now, we credit Governor Kasich for the many good improvements to the Ohio's oil and gas law that remain in his energy plan. But those good provisions will struggle to buffer the toxic loopholes, the lapses, and the left-outs that the Ohio oil and gas industry has succeeded in elbowing into this bill. Now, when the bill was introduced, the governor had set the table with bare minimums for what is needed. Now, the hope was that with this table that was set, that the Ohio Senate and the Ohio House would add some healthy morsels to this meal and make it truly transparent, make the process transparent, make the industry accountable to the people, and really put in protections for Ohio's air, land, and water protections. However, those provisions are left out. Ohio Environmental Council, among others, had issued, in our testimony in front of the Senate, some 20 amendments. Again, looking at transparency, the ability to comment on permits, the ability to be fully notified of these permits, as well as the ability to appeal permits, something that in Senate Bill 165 was left out. Now, the issue of chemical disclosure has gotten probably the most press, the most attention. We appreciate that the governor has brought this to our attention. However, this ability for the people to be notified of the chemicals that are being put under their properties, to be put under their communities, but under their public water supply, under their private water supply, has been watered down after leaving the House. We now have a provision that essentially bounds and gags the medical professionals that really need to have this information and to get to their patients that have been impacted by potential spills, explosions, and other impacts. Those doctors, those medical professionals will be unable to really talk with their colleagues or their patients about impacts from these undisclosed, supposed proprietary chemicals. Now, my colleagues Jed and Julian will hit on a few other points that are seriously missing. But again, unlike the drillers, unlike Halliburton, we are putting our cards on the table. We are disclosing what we think is needed for the bare minimum protections. We have listed here, again, another 12 protections 12 amendment concepts that we are putting in our testimony today and are hoping and urging the Ohio House to take full consideration of as the bare minimum that's needed to protect Ohio, and protect Ohio's gasland communities. Those range from ensuring the public's right to know, comment, and appeal on permits, to ensure easy access to state records on oil and gas incidents, reports, inspections, and violations, to protect drinking water, headwater streams, floodplains, and rivers, to protect private water wells, to protect air quality, to require that oil and gas rules be at least as stringent as the industry standards, to establish a private property owner's bill of rights, so that when those land professionals, those landmen that come knocking on the folks' door, pressing them for leases, that they have the tools necessary to make sure that those leases are protective of their rights, and to ensure public accountability and representation on the Ohio Oil and Gas Commission, to make sure that the public representative on that Oil and Gas Commission is truly a member of the public and represents the public interest and not the interest of any other regulated industry. State regulators expect more than 2,000 shale wells to be fracked in the next 3 years in Ohio, but lawmakers may be leaving only 72 hours to get the protections right. Our lawmakers should take their time, because Ohio still doesn't have adequate safeguards in place, not by a long shot.